Hello and welcome to LimeWedgeLoej and his Week 15 playoff machine predictions. Well, I already missed the first game, which the Chargers beat the Broncos, which Chargers are going to the Super Bowl. Woo! No, not really. But now, with everything that's going on, I must take everything into consideration. One reason I wanted to wait this late was so I could know more about what was going on in all the picks. Like, Cousins is starting for the Redskins, who I think he comes out and he dazzles them. He is the dazzler. I am really worried about Cutler coming back, but it's against the Browns, and the Browns can beat the Bears because the Bears have lost to the Rams very badly. But the Browns, the way they lost to the Patriots last week, can't have any faith in them. Colts have been playing bad, but I don't think they're going to play that bad. New England hurts Miami's chances. Vikings can't stop the Eagles. The Eagles are too hot. The Vikings will give them a run for their money, but I think in the end, the Eagles are going to win. The Sea Turkeys, the Giants aren't playing good enough. I'm going to say the 49ers, but don't count out the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers could give them a good upset right there. Bills at Jaguars. The Bills are still. No, I can't. You can't go with the Bills. The Jaguars are playing pretty good. Bills play bad towards the end of the year. Chiefs are playing pretty good. Raiders aren't. Panthers should crush the Jets just because the Jets are terrible, and the Panthers are a seemingly good team. Seemingly, Aaron Rodgers will not play. Matt Flynn will play. Oh my! I hate it. I hate it. I hate giving the Dallas Cowboys any credit, but without Aaron Rodgers, I just can't. This is possibly the most interesting matchup of the week for me, simply as in not knowing who will win this. On one hand, it's like, well, look at the Cardinals. I mean, they're a really solid football team. But then the Titans, I still don't understand how my computer does this. The performance is low when I'm recording one little screen on here, not when I'm recording a high, intense game, because I play some pretty intensive games on here. I play them at pretty good quality as well. And no, nothing comes up. No, your computer's running slow. I'm going to pause the recording and hopefully I can get not to do that anymore. I don't think I can cut that off, sadly. That makes me very unhappy. But the Titans are a pretty good team at home. Fitzgerald's been playing pretty good. Will you please stop playing? Sorry, I get very frustrated at that. The Cardinals aren't great on the road, but the Titans aren't great at home either. Unfortunately, I'm going to say the Titans burst their bubble. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore it. Saints should win. I don't see St. Louis giving them a battle. You know how I said the Cardinals that the Titans might be the hardest one to pick? I didn't realize these two over here. The Bengals unbeaten at home. Steelers are pretty good at home. Bengals not great on the road. The Bengals are a better team, and I'm going to say the Bengals, being the better team, will win. That's hoping a lot. And I know I still didn't fix this where you could see on both sides, but I didn't think anyone would want constant white space. I don't know. Detroit has one of the best offenses. Baltimore is terrible away from home. Detroit's pretty good at home. I've said this every time. I'm going to pick Detroit because they're at home and Baltimore's on the road. Detroit's a good home team. Baltimore's not a good road team. Another questionable one. 4-3 on the road. Begrudgingly, I give it to the Dolphins. Begrudgingly, because I don't really have faith in the Dolphins, but I have less faith in the Bills. Bengals should win that one as well. I want to say Indianapolis, because I do believe Indianapolis is a better ball team, but for the sake of consistency, I have to say Kansas City. I like the Buccaneers when they're not playing someone amazing. The Jets pretty much blow all their playoff shots. The Cowboys win. That sickens me having to say that. I'm sorry, Cowboys fans. I've just met a few too many Cowboys fans who are obnoxious. Cowboys and Steelers, their fans are just terrible. Even when their teams are terrible, they're like, "Have you heard how many Super Bowls we won? We've won all these Super Bowls." I mean, if you're gonna be one of the fans who isn't obnoxious, that's fine. We'll be friends, whatever. That will not affect us. But if you're one of those people like, well, even our team's doing terrible or just played terrible, we've won all these Super Bowls, so we're still the greatest of all times. Yeah, just know. I'm still going to say the Panthers get the split at home, even though that does absolutely nothing for them in the playoffs. Moral victory. As much as I also do admire the Tennessee Titans, I have a sore spot over here for the Jaguars and how good they're playing. Broncos should beat the Texans pretty badly. Detroit should beat the Giants, who are playing terribly. Arizona, unfortunately, their fans are highly disappointed. I I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. All this other time I've been like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. But I don't know. Do I assume Aaron Rodgers will be back? It really doesn't matter either way because both of these teams are eliminated from the playoffs at this point based on my previous predictions. At least I think they are. Yeah. Well, Pittsburgh, maybe not. But I'm going to give it to the Packers. The Superchargers should win there. Patriots are not great on the road. I'll give that one to the Ravens. Bears at Eagles. I don't trust Cutler. I trust Foles more than I do Cutler. At the beginning of the season, me saying that, people would have gasped and been in awe. Some people might still be. Sorry, Falcons. 49ers should get that win. Sorry, Falcons. You did so good last year. At this point, they'll shut Rodgers down for the season because they're completely out of the playoffs. Bengals going for the first round bye or something. Get the much needed win. The Eagles beat the Cowboys, and the Cowboys fans will be like, well, if the Cowboys will win that game, they're at home, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, this is my playoff prediction, not yours. Ha 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 ha. Titans win, just a hollow moral victory. At this point, the Colts don't have anything to play for. So the Jaguars will be like, yay. I won't say the Jets come in and beat the Dolphins. They'll be like, hello, yes, we're the Jets, and we're gonna beat you, Dolphins. And I hate to say it at this point, but because I don't see the Dolphins playing this consistently, the Dolphins will probably reach 9-7. Detroit, even if Detroit lost this game, it wouldn't matter. But they'll probably still play their would they play their starters? Yes, because if the Cowboys had won, they would have done it, so they played their starters. New Orleans would need this win to make sure they get the second seed, so they'll play it. I still give the Buccaneers a shot, but not quite as much as it's in New Orleans. Kirk Cousins makes their season just slightly better. Steelers end on a win against the Browns. The Browns fire everyone. Not really. They probably should. Ha ha ha. I made a joke there. I'm sorry, Browns fans. You don't need to fire everyone. Assuming that these games are at the same time, they probably won't be. I would say that they'll play their starters. Kansas City, like I said, assuming all these games are actually played at the same time, the NFL reworks them. The Chiefs would lose so that the Chargers could, in theory, have gotten to playoffs if the Dolphins had lost, but they didn't. And here is your playoffs. This is very much possibly how the playoffs will look come playoff time. And then there's some people who are like, the Ravens aren't in the playoffs? No, they're a terrible road team. I don't trust them like that. I'd be like, the Bengals get a bye and the Patriots don't? Yes, the Bengals have a very favorable schedule to win out. They can beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. They should. They're a lot better team. They should beat the Vikings hosting them. They're an excellent home team, and the Vikings are pretty good and will put up a fight. Well, not pretty good, but they'll put up a fight. They're a feisty, subpar team. 3-win team based on my predictions. And then the Ravens are terrible on the road. Bengals are good at home. I would love to say Joe Flacco's clutch. I loved Joe Flacco last year in the Super Bowl, but I lose favor for a player when they're like, give me all this money now. And no, I do not want to do that. And don't show me this message again. I hate it when they take all that money and have to lose star players around them. Because if you took less money and brought back 2 more of the star players, then they would have a better team, and we would probably be saying, oh, well, the Ravens are going to be, in the playoffs. We wouldn't have this crazy madness for the 6th seed, and the Ravens would be able to defend their title, but no. But anyway, predicting the playoffs. Starting with the AFC. I'm going to assume this is going to be a big assumption that the teams are going to play to their full potential. At least, unless I say, oh no, I feel they're going to slip up in this game. The Colts are hosting the Chiefs. The crowds are going wild. The crowds, ha ha ha. I made a funny. Not really. I just failed and pretended it was funny. The Colts host the Chiefs. The Colts, Andrew Luck outduels Alex Smith. And Andy Reid's still revered as an amazing coach, but the Colts move on. The Dolphins at the Patriots. The miracle run, looking past all the incognito Martin stuff, comes to an end at the hand of the rival Patriots. Setting up for the Colts to go into Denver for the big epic rematch of the century, and the Patriots to go into Cincinnati. The Bengals are a lot better home team than I believe the Patriots are a road team. I'm not giving the Patriots the benefit of the doubt. I think the Bengals are actually, surprisingly, shockingly, going to the AFC Championship game. That is mind-blowing. You know what might be equally mind-blowing? The fact that I say, I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive, because my brain, it's like 6:30 in the morning, I haven't went to bed yet, so my brain's not 100%, but I'm sure the Colts have beaten the Broncos. And they will do it again, going into Denver and beating Peyton Manning. And everyone will be like, oh, who's Peyton Manning? We have Andrew Luck. So 2 teams that could very easily flop and lose in the first round of the playoffs, I'm saying, are meeting in the AFC Championship game, because when the time comes, the people come to that time and say, your time is up, my time is now. And both of those teams are saying that. I'll get back to the AFC Championship game after we find out who's going to the NFC Championship game. The 49ers at Eagles. We are still going on the mentality that the Eagles are playing their best football, that they will continue playing at this high level. The 49ers can be stopped. The Eagles' defense isn't great at that, stopping other teams, but Colin Kaepernick hasn't been quite as sharp as he was last year. I think he'll be pretty sharp, but I think in the end, Nick Foles will outduel him. Late field goal, Eagles win. Panthers at Detroit. Detroit will host a playoff game. The Lions fans rejoice. And then the Panthers come in. The Lions play excellent, but one late interception by Stafford seals the game for Carolina. That's the way I see it going down. That will set up for 5 Carolina at 1 Seattle and 3 Philadelphia at 2 New Orleans. Carolina goes into Seattle. It's a close game, a very much mirror of the game earlier in the season, except both teams play better. But Seattle's 12th man gets it for them. They're unbeaten at home this year. I cannot honestly say they're going to lose. That being said, Philadelphia goes into New Orleans. New Orleans! Who dey think they're going to beat them Saints? I am changing what I'm pretty sure I said last week, and the Eagles will not be the who dey that think they're going to beat the Saints. I mean, they think they're going to beat the Saints, but they won't. Well, not in this prediction anyway. In my little game that's playing in my head. Look at how little people run. Run, people, run. And then New Orleans goes into Seattle for the NFC Championship game. And then the Seahawks fans will be chanting, "Who Dey, who Dey, who Dey thinks, who Dey Saints think they're going to beat here?" And the answer will not be the Seahawks. Well, I mean, the Saints fans will think they're going to beat the Seahawks, but it'll be pretty much the game that it was supposed to be on Monday night last week or the week before that. I don't know. Time is relative to me. E equals MC squared. Einstein, I'm smart. I make myself laugh. But Seattle will still win because they're unbeaten at home. They're a different team at home. And Seattle goes to the Super Bowl. Now left is the Bengals hosting the Colts in the Super Bowl. And now it is the possibly greater than Peyton Manning guy. I specifically told you, I didn't want it to go to Windows 7 Basic. I specifically told you that. And I said, don't ask me again, and you changed it anyway. You had one job. One job, computer. Lord have mercy. I feel like I am dealing with incompetence. Machinery should not be this incompetent, especially a gaming computer. But anyway, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? What am I talking about? Oh wait, football. I like talking about football. The Colts at the Bengals. I want to say Andrew Luck will be in top form in Cincinnati and show everyone, be like, who's Peyton Manning? We've got this new super duper amazing star, Andrew Luck. But I'm afraid the Bengals defense will stiffen up. Because they are a pretty good defense. And the Colts, where are you, Colts? Colts. The Colts are not as good of an offense, probably because of all the turnovers, as the Bengals defense. The Bengals versus the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Am I saying this? Yes. And I predict, without Seattle having the home field advantage, the Bengals defeat the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Yes, this week I am picking the Cincinnati Bengals, the team that everyone was like, oh, well, Andy Dalton isn't that great. If things go like I'm predicting this week, Andy Dalton will have a Super Bowl ring around his finger. That being said, my Super Bowl winner has more or less changed each and every week so far. So, right now I believe I've picked the Broncos, the Bengals, the Seahawks. I may have picked the Eagles. I think may have picked the Eagles once. I know they've got to the Super Bowl once. And the Chargers. And now, like I said, everything from this point on is just extra stuff. If you don't want to hear any extra possibilities, because I won't like to show a few extra possibilities, then you can go ahead and just comment or leave feedback, whatever, and go on. And no, I am not a Bengals fanboy. Before anyone asks, no, I'm not a Bengals fanboy. But anyway, these are the things that could happen. Dolphins lose them one. Chargers get into playoffs. They lose as well. Baltimore gets into the playoffs. Jets win them an extra one. And, well, the Jets would pretty much have to have some more help. Like the Patriots go in, and the Jets will be in the playoffs. Oh my, Jets in the playoffs. How does that happen? It shouldn't. The Steelers, if they somehow manage to get their act together, the Steelers would be in the playoffs. But first of all, the most shocking thing of them all. It'll take a little bit of doing, but this is a very possible result. Because who else are you playing? Actually, the Chargers would have to lose to the Raiders as well. Do you see that right there? As of right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars can still make the playoffs. Let that set in. If you didn't watch last week's video, you wouldn't have heard this as well. The Jacksonville Jaguars can still make the playoffs. Other teams have already been eliminated, and the Jacksonville Jaguars can still make the playoffs. That being said, the Browns can as well, but the Jaguars were mostly considered the worst team for the longest time. Anyway, if you've suffered with me for this long, I very much thank you. And if you agree, then you could be like, oh, everything you said makes sense. I agree. Or if you're like, I disagree. You're stupid. You can tell me in the comments, you're stupid. I disagree with you. Or if you're like, oh, well, you are such a fanboy, then you could be like that, and I'll be like, no, I haven't been fanboying in this video. If I was fanboying, the Panthers would win out. They would win the Super Bowl. Well, I think the Panthers did win out in my prediction. But they would win the Super Bowl, and they would blow everyone out by 150 million points. It is literally impossible for an NFL game to score 150 million points. But if I was fanboying, the Panthers could possibly do that. Anyway, I'm not fanboying. Now I'm just babbling. But anyway, I thank you for watching. I'm LimeWedgeLoej. If you enjoyed this, do all the things that every other YouTuber tells you to do. Just be like, you know what to do. So yeah, that is it. And we'll see you next week. Tish, even though that's not a tish moment. Oh, I'm babbling again. End the video quick. End the video quick.